A Spartan does not seek the easy road, nor does he fear the struggle. A Spartan is forged in the fire of adversity. Neogenesis family, this is Delta, phase 2 of the Spartan Warrior System. If you've been here from the start, you know what's coming. If you're new, welcome to the proving grounds. The full Spartan series await below. When you do your front squats, you want to keep your elbows high, your chest up, you brace like a warrior, you sink with control, you rise with fury. Your heels should be rooted and your knees should be driven out. Command your stance. Let no weakness break your ground. Coming up next, Dumbbell Step Ups. Every step is a march towards dominance. Drive through your lead foot. Explode to the top. Control the descent. Your core should be tight and your chest should still be up. Carry yourself like a leader. The true leader never slouches. Yep. Gotta be intense. Gotta show some willingness to push the ground. Your toes should be pointing towards the ceiling once you get back at the top. The reason why is that I'm trying to emulate the dorsiflexion needed when you run, when you sprint. So you shouldn't spend too much time on the ground. Next, we have bench dips. Forge arms that command respect. Your shoulders should be back, your chest should be proud. Elbows are tucked and the depth is controlled. What we're trying to build here is power through the triceps. So let weakness die in the trenches. Push hard. Strength is born in the struggle. Dumbbell rows. Build a back that carries the weight of war. Brace like an iron fortress. Your core is the foundation. Let nothing shake. No fortress stands without a solid foundation. Pull with intent and squeeze hard at the top. Alright, the next beast, the Romanian Deadlifts. Bend but never break. Hinge, don't squat. Your hips lead the way, your knees follow. The hips, the center of power, and I hope you'll never forget it. You need to feel the tension like a bowstring ready to release. Explode up, drive the hips. Now the hardest part of this workout, the battle ropes. Unleash the storm. Grip like you're holding on the line. Explode from the core. Whip and don't flail. Breathe like a beast. You need to keep on breathing even when you get tired. You just keep on pushing and whipping and again until you feel like you will give up, like your arms are not going up again. But you keep on pushing yourself because all of it is worth it. And now, we have the plank. 90 seconds. So let's talk a little bit. If you were stripped of everything, what would remain? Muscle fades. Money vanishes. Status crumbles. Only characters endures. What have you built in yourself that nothing can take away? You know, most men define themselves by what they own. Money, muscle, status. But if all of it was taken in an instant, what is left? Are you still a warrior or just a man who once played the part? True strength isn't what can be taken. It's in what you build inside. Discipline, resilience, and an unbreakable will. These are forged through fire and suffering, and no one can steal them from you. The things that cannot be taken are the things that define you. You were not born to break. You were not meant to crawl through life, weighted down by fear and regret. Pain is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Hardship is not your curse. It is your forge. Every struggle you endured, every moment you thought you'd fall and never rise again. What's not there to destroy you? It was there to awaken you, to remind you that deep inside, beyond the doubt, beyond the weakness, there is a fire that refuses to die. So stand up, face the storm. Now, right back at it. Just repping the front squat, staying focused. You try to keep your core tight. Everything is well aligned. I could go a little deeper, but what I'm focusing here is really to get that pump in my leg. It's all about sensation. If everything is done with consciousness, it's not because I don't want to go lower. It's exactly because I want to feel those points. I want to work on a certain area of my thighs, so that explains why. Here, dumbbell step ups, you try to be as intense as possible. You brace your core. Even if you feel like falling on one side or the other, you just keep on going. The weight doesn't necessarily need to be heavy. You focus on form, you focus on intensity, you look forward. And while at it, let's talk a little bit more. Let's ask ourselves some questions. What does true strength mean? And how do you cultivate strength? If I ask the question to myself, I would say true strength is not just lifting weights. It's not just facing stuff that comes up in your life with a certain attitude. It's more than that. It's a way of living. It's a way of influencing the environment in which you are putting in. Being truly strong could be expressed in a lot of different manners. There's not a certain way that is stick in stone. You know, I'm a man, but strength could also be shown with women. There's no difference. It could also be shown in kids. Being strong is not just something that, you know, you see all of these so-called alpha males these days, and their definition of strength is harmful to others. While for me, being strong is about protecting your environment. It's about being the presence who shield others from hurt, who shield others from pain, because I know pain. And sometimes I even become pain, but I refuse to let others feel it. I shield them from it. How do I separate the difference between a coach and a leader? It's funny because I am a coach. It's not the only thing I'm striving to be. A leader is a better definition of my goal. I'm not saying that I am a leader now, but I do believe that when you coach people, sometimes you stand and you're telling them what to do. They probably wouldn't do it by themselves, so you are the voice who pushes those people to push themselves. You know, you are gonna program stuff, you are gonna envision a structure for an athlete, for a person to follow in order to reach a certain goal. But as a leader, the role is a little bit more complex. As a leader, I find you need to embody an ideal, an image, a goal, so you become a model of what you are preaching. So I don't think that you can be a leader without practicing what you are preaching to the people. Practice what you preach. Put yourself through the same fire you're trying to bring others into. And you show them that by doing that process you're talking about, they are going to come out a better version of themselves. They will become the weapon they want to be because you are showing them that it worked on you. My philosophy on failure, I have failed sometimes, and you know what? I have failed in moments where my absolute goal was to not fail. And this hurts because I was not ready to embrace the lesson that would come along the failure. So now when I teach people, I do try to let them know that failure is part of the process. As you accept that fact, you open yourself some doors that wouldn't be accessible without it. Failures are the stepping stone you need in order to be a truly successful person. If you try to avoid it, unfortunately it will still happen, and you won't be prepared, and you will probably not take away the lesson you need in order to be an experimented person. So experience, and experience is built through failure. As I coach young kids now, I'm not trying to make them perfect in every training, in every different session we have. They don't have to be perfect, but they still need to push themselves. They still need to put everything they have in their gas tank on the table and be willing to see where it leads them. My way of pushing people, to be their better version is truly by example. Everything I make them do, I did prior to teach them. I'm not just pushing people, I'm pulling sometimes, and I'm trying to pull this diamond out of the dirt that they have in themselves. In a way, I think I am a scammer because I do scam people into believing that they are better than they think. Because I've learned that believing in yourself is the best and most beautiful thing you can have in order to achieve whatever goal you set your mind into doing. The difference that separates an average workout from one that truly transforms the body and the mind is the level of intensity you put. Obviously, you still need to respect a certain amount of, your work capacity, but pushing yourself until you look ready to just leave that room is what separates, a good workout from a great one. You need to push yourself. You need to put in the work and be honest with yourself with the work you've been putting in, because at the end of the day, if there's someone you cannot lie to, is yourself. If you show up and you push yourself, you're gonna get better, whatever it means. So it doesn't necessarily need to be your PR every day, but just showing up and give the best that you have to give on that day will make you better than the person who only shows up when they feel like it. My way of building trust with clients, I'm trying to give them what I lacked when I was myself an athlete. So I'm trying to be as respectful, as understanding as possible. Honestly, I see my job as a coach and as a leader as more than just being, someone who knows what they're talking about. I'm trying to be a crutch. I'm trying to be someone they can rely on. I'm trying to be someone who has a positive impact, on their lives, on their family. For me, being a coach is something truly special because people can talk to you about their daily problems and you get to guide them. And you also put something that is hard in their life, which is the workout in itself. So it does take their minds off of their daily problems and all of the matters they have to deal with at work, at home, in their relationships. For me, I'm just trying to be the person I would have liked to have when I was an athlete. So nothing too complicated. You're just trying to be there and be the voice in their head, because I do push myself a lot when I'm alone and I know what I'm lacking and I know what I would like someone to tell me when things are getting hard, when things are getting painful. By experience, I just know what people could seek, and I also try to adapt myself to each person. I'm not going to be the same person with everyone. I will try to adapt to the needs of each person that tries my system. It's not a one size fits all. And to be honest, I do not pretend to know everything about training. I do not pretend to be the best coach out there. I'm just trying to be myself. In my 31 years of life, I have had the chance to train about half of it. So there's something I think should be given back. It's not just for me, and for a while, I was training only for myself. At a certain point, you need to turn back and give back to the youth. You also need to give forward to the generation that came prior to you. I've had the chance to have some pretty good coaches and some bad ones too. So it gives me the opportunity to then lay a hand to the next generation. I would say that the most common misconceptions people have about achieving physical greatness is that there's an easy road. Now the fitness industry is a lot influenced by what we see on videos like mine, on channels, on platforms, and I am saddened to see that more often than not, people are cheating the process. The people who are teaching others are cheaters. So they are just teaching you how to cheat. And also not being true with the people are leading them into a world of pain because they are ending up wondering why they're not getting the result you're getting. But if you're not honest with them, if you've cheated your own process, what are you doing? You're reaping benefits, you're getting money, you're selling stuff to people, but you're not honest with them. And I have a huge problem against that because it starts with honesty. You need to be honest with yourself. Why have you started your own fitness journey? If the reason was, okay, you don't love yourself, and then you are getting proposed a certain product or something that will help pretty much everyone get it faster, and you chose that way, then you need to be honest with yourself that you didn't pay the process any respect. You didn't put in the work, the hard work you're then asking your clients to follow. And for me, this is not acceptable. It is not. And people need to stop pretending to be people they're not. Because if there was a camera in your life following every steps, we would then see that you are cheating your process. You are not clean. You are not straightforward with the people who are following you with the desire to be like you. So be honest. Be honest with yourself. And if at the end, when you look yourself in the mirror, you're not satisfied with what you see, it's because this is not just physical, it's mental, it's psychological, it's inside of you, it's spiritual. It's what you are not able to be honest about. And that's where I want to take everyone. I want to train everyone to be better than they are. So if you are cheating your process, it might be time for you to stop doing that. Image is only a little thing in all of this process. And honestly, as soon as you stop cheating, if it gets you back to point zero, then you have made little to no progress. And I am well equipped to call people on that because most of the time what I see on internet is people defending that. And most of the time it's because people who are attacking that way of being are not training hard enough to the standard. They're not, people who made it in a natural way. So it's hard for them to then be critical about people who are taking the easy way, but are still working hard. So they're getting twice as far by cheating. I've stayed on the path. I stayed focused. I was hurt, I was still training. I was sick, I was still training. I had kids, I was still training. Man, I've been to the hospital, and then hell, if I had to, I would go back to training the next day. Dislocated shoulder, I would go back to train 2 weeks after. My way is the hard way, and now sometimes I could be compared with people who are cheating. And even those people, sometimes they come up to me and they're asking, how do you do it? The answer is very simple. I work hard. And my answer is sometimes disappointing for people because they're looking for a science. They're looking for something so fancy, but there's nothing fancy about what needs to be done if you want to succeed. And for me, that's where I want to take my people. If there's 3 people like me who are willing to do my way of doing things, I'm gonna ride with those people. I don't need 3,000 people. I don't need 3 million people. Because for now, those people are looking towards the worst direction possible. They're looking for the easy path. It's been the day or the night of the wolf for a long time, but the day of the dog is coming. Hey, I know if I would cheat my process, I could even be a little stronger, but I refuse to let that idea prevail. I will not let the devil win. I will stay strong until the day I drop. And if you're willing to follow that path, hey man, it's not gonna be beautiful all the days. It's not gonna be easy. You're not gonna feel like doing what I do. But you know what? Find something that keeps you focused. And keep looking forward. Keep moving forward. In my eyes, what makes someone a true athlete? And how can anyone cultivate that mindset? The answer is simple. In my head, the way I see every human being is that everyone is an athlete to a certain degree. Some people are just willing to go further in the development and the improvement of their athletic abilities. But everyone is an athlete. Everyone is able to a certain degree to accomplish some sort of athletic feat. So starting thinking like that, it then opens a lot of doors to people. You know, when I train people, I do not shy away from trying to make them good athletes. So if I get a client that is a business person, that doesn't run, that doesn't jump, that's exactly where I'm gonna try to put that person. So I'm bringing them with me, I'm making them jump, I'm teaching them the same stuff I would teach a high level athlete. The only thing is I will try to adapt to the level of the athlete, which is hard because you need to understand where this person is coming from. You have to be able to put yourself in the shoes of that person. It's not always easy. And that's also why in this society, a lot of great athletes in the past are not necessarily good coaches afterwards, just because for them they're so good, it's so easy for them, it's so well put inside of their mind that they can't even fathom the way of, you know, that person who never was a competitive athlete. So it's hard for them to teach them, and sometimes it won't necessarily work. What worked on the great athlete won't necessarily work on the normal citizen. But what I'm saying is just that those people shouldn't avoid the way of the athlete, because in the end you're trying to be a better version of yourself. That's it. I'm gonna be critical though, because I'm looking at this video and I see my hips are pretty high, but I'm getting tired, and the next time I'm going through this workout I will focus on form even more. Warriors, you've just stepped into the fire, and now it's your turn to rise. If you felt that spark, if you're ready to forge yourself into something stronger, then join the Neogenesis family. This journey is just the beginning, and we're here to push past every limit together. Don't stand on the sidelines. Follow, subscribe, and let's build the warriors we were born to be. Remember, you're not here to be average. You're here to redefine what's possible. Stay strong, stay relentless, and most of all, stay with us. The battle has begun. Neogenesis Academy, where strength meets resilience.